Well, we're going to go ahead and get started here. Good morning. I'm Kathleen Greer. I am part of the Delaware Commute Solutions team. We have James Williams and Kiara Hicks with us today, and also our guest speaker with DART First State with us today. What we're going to do is actually just let you know that we're recording the session. If you have any questions, you can hold them at the end and we'll go ahead and answer them at the end of the session. We will be sending out a follow-up email. It will contain all the information discussed from DART and then also from Delaware Commute Solutions as well. And just a little overview about Delaware Commute Solutions. We are a free service under DART First State. We work with employers, employees, colleges, and students. And what we're doing is helping improve the air quality by reducing traffic congestion on the roadways. And what I'm going to do is we'll just go to the next slide. I do want to introduce our guest speaker from DART, and it is David Dooley. He is a senior development planner and a passionate advocate for transit and urban planning. David brings a wealth of experience shaped by his time studying in Boston, where he embraced a car-free lifestyle and developed a deep appreciation for city and urban planning. His global perspective has been enriched, by living and traveling throughout Europe and Southeast Asia, where he explored many forms of public transportation. And David's interests spanned from his rail history and passenger service to pedestrian and cycling studies. He firmly believes that transit, whether buses, trains, bikes, or walking, is not just a convenience, but a vital solution to many today's pressing challenges, including urban renewal, climate change, equity, and mobility, both for seniors and youth. So please join me in welcoming David as our guest speaker. So I'm going to turn it over to you, David. And again, we'll hold questions for the end. Thank you.
Okay, Kathleen, thank you for that introduction, and it's a pleasure to be here today. Again, I'm David Dooley, and I'll just start right into the presentation. I am kind of a passionate advocate for transit. I've been in Delaware for almost 25 years now here at DTC, but it's a little different than other places, but always a challenge, and welcome the challenge. So DART's main mission is connecting everyone to what matters via the every ride, every customer, every day. That's our mission. And our vision to do that is, we strive to provide a safe, reliable, convenient ride for everyone. We aspire to provide our customers with an excellent experience with every interaction. And every day we try to connect people to their destinations throughout the state and the region. Next slide. Our environmental statement, which which kind of mirrors Delaware Commute Solutions. DTC is committed to providing public transit service that protects and preserves the environment, with every trip on DART services and every dollar invested going to green technologies where we can. And just by the fact that everyone's riding transit helps, to reduce the environmental impact as well. Next slide. I'm just going to go right into the ridership update. It's broken down by the different modes. And as you probably know, since COVID, and then even prior to COVID, there was a bit of a decrease in our annual ridership. So we'll go right to the next slide. The first one up is fixed route, which is kind of the main bread and butter of our service. Is the bulk of our ridership consists of fixed route bus service in the state of Delaware primarily. And you can see by these charts, ridership did take a hit during COVID, which is that red line. That's fiscal year 21. And we operate on the fiscal year that goes from July 1st until June 30th. So we're a little different, but that's common within the state of Delaware. We've had somewhat of a rebound, so that's been trending back upwards. As you can see from 25, we're pretty much matching what we did last year and the year before. So it's hopefully in the right direction again. Unfortunately, it's below roughly around 500,000 currently, and we used to have quite a bit more way back like 10 years ago. But that's just general trends in the transit industry at large. Next slide. We're going to go into paratransit, which is our complementary service to the fixed route, and that's for the disabled and people who need an extra lift to complement within a 3/4 mile buffer of our fixed route service. And as you can see, similar trends. Took a hit with COVID, and ridership would drop down, but it's building back up. Actually, that's one of the better performers of all our modes has been paratransit, that it's going back to what it used to be prior to COVID. Not quite there, but it's the closest of all the modes that we have. Next slide. And this is our SEPTA rail ridership. We contract our service for the Newark to Wilmington and then Claymont Station, which we have the new Claymont Station to boast about or be proud of. But SEPTA ridership has probably been one of the more challenging of all the modes that we've had. It's come back a little bit, but it's still trying to reach its previous COVID ridership. As you can see, SEPTA's service in 21 went way down due to the COVID and not a lot of people just commuting or staying home and working remotely. But our service has bounced back, and it's up there, but not where we want it to be. Let's put it that way. All right, next slide. And now I'm going to just highlight what we just recently went over, or what we recently just went through as our May 2025 service change. And we have a few highlights that I was just going to talk about real quickly, and go to the next slide. So we added 2 trips on the Route 2, trying to serve the Brandywine Town Center and for the night employees. The Route 5, we're trying to serve JP Morgan, the office, with some additional trips on the Route 5. They go and serve the employees of the JP Morgan site. They're near Fairplay Station. The train or the trips that go to the JP Morgan then do not go to the Fairplay Station. Fairplay Station, but to the hospital. I think they alternate, so they don't try to. It would be too much to do both. But these select trips, they do serve JP Morgan. The Route 13 additional trips were added. 2 trips from Wilmington to Claymont in the morning, and then there's a noon trip, and then 1 trip Claymont to Wilmington at 1:30. So giving more connections on the Route 13. The Route 20 was adjusted to better serve the Groves High School or Adult Education Center, or the Red Clay Adult Education Center, I should give it its new name. And that's located real close to where the AI DuPont High School. It's actually on the same site in Greenville. So that was one thing that we heard back from the adjustment for that school. Next slide. The Route 61, we kind of shifted some of the trips to better serve the night service on the 61. So taking away and shifting 2 trips in the early morning and then extending them later in the evening. The Route 204, the span of service down in the resort area, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. with hourly frequency. There will be, we are still serving the Big Oaks campground with selected trips on all service days. The Route 305 trip times were adjusted just to better serve the times that people wanted to go. Next slide. Just as a highlight, beach bus service will operate until Monday, September the 1st. Holiday service for Newcastle County. This is something that was last couple of years. We've been operating on select holidays where we traditionally did not serve. So those would be Sunday service. It's a Sunday service on these days: Memorial Day, Independence Day, and Labor Day. And it's for the following routes that basically run on Sundays: the 2, 4, 5, 6, the 9, the 13, the 15, 33, the 40, the 64, and the 305. Sussex County Weekend Resort Service operates also on Memorial Day, Independence Day, Labor Day for the routes 201, 204, 206, 208, and the 215. Okay, next slide. One thing that we've been implementing, and we've been doing this already for the last few service changes, but we were trying to go forward and implement the DART Reimagine study that took place about 3 years ago. And it was a long study where we looked at our overall service and where should we provide better service for the Delaware residents. So we're into the phase 2 of that implementation of that plan. And this is for the years 25 and 26. And in Newcastle County, one of the highlights was the discontinuation of 4 bus routes, the 14, the 44, the 53, and the 54. We've done that for 2 of those routes, the 44 and the 54 is slated that we're trying to work that in 2026. So we have not implemented that one yet. But that's what we're in the process of planning for that one. And it's possibly going to be replaced with the new type of service called DART Connect, which is a microtransit mobility service. Alignment on the frequency and modifications to the following routes: the 2, the 8, the 9, the 10, the 13, 15, 25, 28, 33, 51, and 64. Those are ongoing. And then, like I said, the route 56 is one of our newest routes, and that's kind of excited. We've always recognized that if you need to make a transfer, a lot of our route structure is made so you either have to go to Wilmington to make the transfers between some of our busiest corridors or go to Newark. And the Route 56 was trying to establish something in the mid area so you could make it midstream, and that would be a connection from Wilton, Christiana Mall, and Price's Corner. And the big vital link was Christiana Mall and Price's Corner. Currently, we don't have a service that makes a connection between those 2 hubs that we have. Next slide. And then the DART Reimagine, there's a phase 3 that would go in the outer years of 27 and 28. And that would be really focusing on that microtransit that I was talking about, or I mentioned last slide, but it's for the DART Connect services. And all of this, as you can see, the red text on the slide, is contingent on budget constraints, because right now transit, not only DART but SEPTA, there is a challenge a little bit from a budget standpoint. But that we hope to implement and roll out these other areas that we have designated for replacing or complementing fixed route service with this microtransit or DART Connect service. Newcastle County, DART Connect Layman's Road replaces the idea is that it would replace 4 current fixed route bus routes. And then the DART Connect Churchman's Crossing and Pike Creek would replace the 18, which I was already mentioned, but the 18 and the 62. And then in Kent County, there's the DART Connect North Dover, replacing the routes that are listed there, and then the South Dover that replaces 4 other Dover-based routes. Okay, next slide. Continuing with the phase 3, the DART Connect in Kent County would have the Harrington-Milford, which will replace the Route 117, and then DART Connect Smyrna will replace the Route 120. The new DART County Route 113, which would be a combination of the routes 104, 109, and 112. That's kind of a neat concept. It's basically combining these smaller routes in one route that would kind of snake through the targeted areas through the North and South Dover area and Central Dover, and would provide it in hopefully a much more widely used single route. Sussex County, DART Connect Harrington Milford would replace the 210. DART Connect Blades Seaford replace the Flex Route 903. The alignment modifications for the routes 212, 303, and the 307. And then the new inter-county route 309, which would connect Dover and Seaford. So that's an overview of the DART Reimagine. If we go to the next slide. Next slide, sorry. We get to, this is a rather graphic intensive, but it's a nice beach scene. Beach bus service, which is already started, and just basically we're operating frequent daily service, bus service, morning to the late night through September 1st, 2025 for the beach. The beach much connections for the 305. You can go to the next slide. That's fine, James. Sorry. The 305 connections, Saturdays and Sundays and all holidays. So they just operate this the Saturday or Sunday, the Sunday and holiday service. The 305 that comes from Wilmington all the way down to the boardwalk, and it's limited at what stops it goes to. Throughout the years, the beach bus has been served more, but it's going to serve less. It's those select stops: Wilmington Transit Center, Christiana Mall, and various places. It used to kind of get filled up before we even got to the Christiana Mall, and then it wouldn't be able to load up anymore. So basically, we've limited to just those 5 stops to get down to the beach area. Okay, and there's a map that shows once you get to the resort area and the beach bus service, you have all these various routes. Like the 201 is the most frequent, that's connecting the Lewis Transit Center all the way down to the boardwalk, also hitting the Rehoboth Park and Ride, and offering frequent service. But then you also have the 204. You can see them all there. Various routes that serve all the way down to Fenwick Island, and all the places that you want to go in the beach area. So if you ever want to just consult our DART web access to find out where the specific routes go. But that's that. Again, this is the beach bus service that operates until September 1st. Okay, next slide. Bring attention to people's access that you can get information from DART via the mobile app. We can go to the next slide. DART has its own mobile app so that you can find out bus information with real-time information, book your ride for DART Connect through it, and also pay your fare using your phone. This is the information is through the DART Transit app. And then if you go to the next slide, and all these apps are free. I want to point that out. There's the DART Pass app, which you can then buy your fares through the DART Transit Pass app. And the various offerings that we have for our fares, one-way, a student fare, a daily pass, and you can get a 7-day pass through the app and a 30-day pass, which is kind of, I think on the app is unique for those two, the last two on that. And go to the next slide. Now I'm going to highlight some of the capital projects, so not the operating, but the capital side of the budget process and some of our significant projects that we have already implemented. If you go to the next slide. DART, we emphasized, is trying to switch to a more green initiatives. We've been doing this for, well, actually throughout our whole history, but when we had diesel hybrid buses, but even now trying to evolve as the industry gets greener and greener by bringing in low emissions and zero emissions vehicles, which DART has invested in quite a few electric buses, so full EV battery powered buses. And we've done this through some grants that we were awarded. And so we currently operate 26 electric buses, 14 in Newcastle County, 6 in Kent County, and 6 in Sussex County. And then we also, there's the first, this was envisioned that this would be throughout our whole system, but right now it's limited to the Lewis Transit Center. It's kind of a neat concept. It's an en route or during the route pantograph charging system that it just basically attaches to the top of the bus and then recharges the bus in a very short order. So it's kind of neat. And I didn't, the goal, I should have highlighted that. We want to be 50%, reduce our emissions by 50% by 2030, and hopefully 100% by 2050. I didn't highlight that part. And also in lieu of not only just electric, but the paratransit fleet has been switched over to propane for quite a while, or for the past few years at least. So that's not zero emissions, but it's lower emissions. Okay, we can go to the next slide. As far as the transition plan for green initiatives, we're going to purchase 6 hydrogen fuel cells for Newcastle County. That's a new technology. And then 4 additional electric buses for Sussex County. En route chargers are planned for the Dover Transit Center, the Wilmington Transit Center, the Price's Corner Park and Ride, and the Newark Transit Hub. We also want to modify our mid-county facility so that it can support the servicing of hydrogen buses. There's some other, needed requirements to be able to do that. Okay, next slide. Mid-county, we're going to do a maintenance expansion, and we were awarded a $3.3 million FTA grant in 2018 for that purpose. The expansion is to support the growth and demand in suburban Newcastle County, which, Delaware is growing in the suburban areas and also the city areas, but it seems like the suburban areas seem to grow maybe a tad faster. And this is designed to accommodate the maintenance of the hydrogen fuel cells that I mentioned in the last slide. And it should have already started construction of May 2025. All right, next slide. Next slide, James. And I think this is the last slide, but I wanted to say that this is probably one of the most important things that we've been doing, because without a fare box, we don't collect revenues that we can make improvements to our whole service. So in a way, this might, in some ways, should be the first slide for especially the finance department, and the ability to do some of the projects and the goals that we want to establish is the ability to collect fares, which helps us to continue on our mission. But our current fare box is coming to the end of its life, and so the Odyssey is what the current fare box is, and we're proposing to upgrade it to these new machines that are, faster at collecting the payment, and you can do the tap process, and they can also gain a lot of information via the new fare boxes so that we can do some back-end planning purposes and find out what stops or destinations are maybe could be better served by DART, and where we could adjust service and figure out where ridership demand is actually coming from. But it's these new technologies will allow for wireless probing, which helps to collect the fares at the end of the night, and information, smart card capable, so that people could be able to hopefully be able to purchase right there through the GFI, the fare box itself, QR code capable. It would still support the mag stripe, and it would also have the ability to, I think if you reach a certain amount in your daily fare, it won't charge you an additional fare. It'll know when with the smart technologies, it'll know when you've reached maybe the bonus, so that you ride all day now without any more collection. And then it also supports a cloud-based system so that they can gather that information so much quicker. I think that's the last slide. If you go to the next one, there's just our contact information if you want to contact myself or my boss, and Kathy Smith, the Deputy Chief for Customer Experience, and then myself, the Senior Planner. Those are our email addresses if you wish to follow up or ask us a question. We'd love to hear from you. So thank you.
Right. Well, thank you, David. I appreciate all the information. And of course, DART has a lot going on with the new technologies and some of the service upgrades and things like that. So what we'll do, again, I had mentioned in the beginning, we'll go ahead and send a thank you note out to everyone for participating today. And in that email will contain all the links and the information on what David provided today, and then also some additional information from the Delaware Commute Solutions team, and just a few other things that Delaware Commute Solutions does provide. And again, it's a free service through the DART First Aid. And what we do, we actually manage another program for them, which is the Get a Job, Get a Ride program. And so any employer within the state of Delaware has the ability to become a program partner. And once they do, they're able to sign up their new employees for a free 30-day bus pass. And with that, it, gives the employee time to get a paycheck in order to be able to get, transportation options to get to work. And then also it gives the employer peace of mind because they know that their new employee is going to be able to get to work on time and be reliable. So just a couple other things that Delaware Commute Solutions does provide, like I said, to anyone in the state. There is a follow-up with some contacts here for Amy Reardon. She's our outreach specialist, and then myself and any of the other team members, Kiara Hicks, James Williams, we're all available to assist anyone. And I want to open it up. I didn't see any questions in the chat, but if someone does have a question, you can go ahead and unmute yourself and ask a question.
Yep. I'm going to take myself off video, but thank you, everyone.
Well, if there are no questions, we'll go ahead and end the session. Be on the lookout again for an email from the Delaware Commute Solutions team. And in that, like I said, there's going to be links and our contact information from all the bus information and the services that David provided today, and then also from our program as well. So thank you for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you again in one of another info series.